From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Diane Parker. Miller has our Monday forecast, but first, our top story. Happening today, a jury in a coroner's inquest is deciding whether the shooter in a deadly downtown Billings road rage incident should face charges. 14 months ago, 29-year-old Michael Duran was shot and killed by another driver after they both exited their cars to fight. MTN security cameras captured this footage as it happened right outside our Billings station. The shooter was never arrested or charged, but now Yellowstone County Attorney Scott Twido wants a jury's opinion. Congress scrambled to pass a last-minute short-term bill to prevent a government shutdown. CBS's Jared Hill has the very latest.
Stop playing games.
President Biden had some tough words for House Republicans after Congress passed a spending bill late Saturday, narrowly avoiding a federal government shutdown.
Enough is enough is enough. This is not that complicated. The brinkmanship has to end.
The short-term bill will keep the government funded until November 17th. It includes $16 billion for disaster relief, but aid for Ukraine was dropped from the final legislation.
We cannot, under any circumstance, allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted.
With the shutdown crisis over for now, conservative Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is leading the charge to oust House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
I do intend to file a motion to vacate against Speaker McCarthy this week. I think we need to move on with new leadership that can be trustworthy.
Gaetz blasted the speaker for working across the aisle to pass the stopgap funding measure. But McCarthy says it's Gaetz who's trying to work with House Democrats in his efforts to remove McCarthy from leadership.
I'll survive. You know, this is personal with Matt. Bring it on. Let's get over with it and let's start governing.
House Republicans are split over the potential move.
I think he is in trouble.
It's an absolute waste of time.
With Republicans holding a narrow majority in the House, Gaetz would need some Democrats to vote in order to remove McCarthy. Jared Hill, CBS News.
In Montana and Wyoming, you'd be hard-pressed to find many people happier about the deal than hotel owners in Yellowstone National Park gateway communities. But as our Haley Monaco learns, even just talks of a shutdown over the past few weeks cost some businesses serious cash.
Even though the government averted a shutdown last minute, how do talks of government shutdowns impact a town like Gardner, whose business heavily relies on tourist traffic to and from Yellowstone National Park, which would have been shut down if the government decided to do the same?
There's a lot of wildlife going on right here. Yellowstone is the place to be.
With the fall colors hitting the scene and many animals out and about, people were still traveling to Yellowstone National Park Sunday.
Business has still been busy around here.
And Caroline Slichter, who owns multiple businesses in Gardner, was grateful for the tourist activity.
We are still busy, and the weather's been nice, so that has helped us.
My wife had never seen it, so we came back to Yellowstone.
Mitch Delaski and his wife traveled from Wisconsin, arriving in Montana earlier this weekend. But there was something looming in the back of their minds as they made their way to the national park. Would it be open?
We had that conversation before Friday.
They ultimately decided to keep their plans and hope for the best. Clay Willis said others did not decide to go that route.
The problem was that a lot of people were canceling their reservations because of the fact that it was getting right up to, and everybody was hoping that it was going to happen, but it happened at such a last second that many people had already decided, well, I can't go this year.
Willis said that even though they received cancellations, he estimated about 60% of people kept their bookings, and even more started to call to reserve rooms.
Today we're getting reservations for today and for this week because of the decision yesterday.
For wildlife photographer Mike Early, he was going to come to the park from Wisconsin no matter the decision the government came to.
There's lots of things to film in the park, but there's lots of stuff in Montana all over the place.
And he wasn't going to pass up on being here this time of the season.
Every year when fall starts coming, I can hear the mountains calling me, and I can't resist.
In Gardner, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
We're into the first week of October. How does this Monday stack up? Well, we'll take a look at our local forecast in just a second. But across the U.S. today, the 48s, your headlines here from the Dakotas all the way down to the Lone Star State of Texas. Risk of severe storms are possible. Higher elevations of the northern Rockies. We've got moderate to heavy snow possible too. And most of southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana, there's an exceptional drought condition that continues to rock up, be quite dry and quite hot down those areas. All right, so we've been talking about this area of low pressure for a while. Finally coming out of the Great Basin, making its way toward the area, giving us rain and mountain snow. We'll tell you all about that and how long it's going to last with the main forecast coming up here in just a bit.
In Lovell High School, school spirit is high, from decor to outfits, as this is homecoming week. Teachers like Josie Allen, who teaches physical sciences, are celebrating too.
This is my 9th year at Lovell High School.
Part of Bighorn County School District 2, there are more than 700 students across Lovell elementary, middle, and high schools. And in a rare set of circumstances for a rural school district, the Lovell schools are fully staffed when it comes to teachers.
We're fortunate enough to be fully staffed for this school year and have been for the last number of years.
School districts across the country and in Wyoming are facing worsening teacher shortages, a trend made worse by the pandemic. What helps Wyoming is a high starting pay, beating out neighboring states significantly, especially Montana.
Wyoming outcompeted like everybody in the Intermountain West in terms of salaries and benefits right away.
The National Educators Association shows Montana ranks 51st in the nation for starting teacher pay and 44th for average salary. Cross the border to Wyoming and starting teacher pay jumps to number 12 in the nation and 23rd for average salary.
For us, we're always hoping that we can get people to cross the border and get as many quality educators from that area to us, because we know that the funding system, as far as teacher pay and stuff, is not what Wyoming's is typically, depending on the area.
That's incentivized educators to pick Wyoming over Montana, even if Montana is where they have roots.
I taught 6th grade social studies in Laurel, Montana in 2001, 2002. Just couldn't make a living doing it, quite frankly.
I'm from Montana originally, and I looked at various teacher salaries. Montana was straight off the list right away as soon as I looked at teacher salaries there.
Hazen says what drives the difference in pay between the two states in part is the amount of state funding assigned to each student. But still, Hazen says the national teacher shortage is being felt in Wyoming.
All of us are fighting and scratching to make sure we get the best quality applicants to work with our students.
But this homecoming week, spirits are high, with teachers happy to call Wyoming home.
Go